Well, good afternoon again. I'm off on a walk this time in part of the village of Monachil. Not following an acequia, we're not following a river. It's a Barranco, or maybe perhaps even a rambler. Not quite sure about the right definitions of either, but it's a dry valley. It's a nice walk. It's what I did my first video that I put on YouTube, although I didn't do any speaking on that one a couple of years ago. A Walk in the Woods, that one was called, so maybe I'll re-edit the two. Anyway, enough of that. Let's go and see what the valley has to offer. It's actually the first time I've walked this one from this low down, and it's quite a steep walk. I don't know quite what's there, and already well, here's a surprise. I didn't know this was here. Let's go and have a look. As I said, this is a dry valley. I've never seen any water flowing here before in my life, but they've obviously prepared for that eventuality. Let's have a look at this. Oh, didn't know that was there. I have seen on the other side of this neighbourhood something similar. I didn't know this was here, complete with its own, well, I'm not quite sure what this is. It's like a barrier to stop debris flowing down into the pipework. That was a surprise, didn't know that was there. If we look carefully, you should find a number of trees that were planted recently in order to try and reforest this area. I don't know how they're doing. Not too well by the looks of things. It's difficult to see, but there's a number of them. Yeah. As I say, this is all a bit of a surprise. I often drive down here, but never got to walk this particular part of it. Anyway, I'm going to switch off here as I clamber down. So this valley is on, or is called the Malcabi. Not quite sure how to best translate that, if in fact there is some kind of translation to English. It's in the village of Monachil, but this is in the neighbourhood known as the barrio, which means neighbourhood. Monachil is divided into three separate areas. The first off is the village centre itself, where we were nearby looking at the town hall the other day on the Cerro de la Encina and the Acequia del Barranco. But this part here is separated. We had a quick look at it from the river valley. We didn't really see much, and we won't really see much today because we're deep down in the gorge. There's another barrier as well, which going on this part, I've not walked it before and I didn't really realise it was there. So the third part of Monachil is actually high up in the mountains, probably about 6,000 or 7,000 foot, maybe a little bit higher, which is called Prado Llana, which is where the ski resort is there, and is nearby to the source of the river Monachil as well. I must admit, I'm never totally sure if I'm pointing the camera in the right direction, so I apologise for that. It all looks a little bit skewy. On the local area maps, and I don't know if I'll be able to put some kind of image on the video. Probably I will if I work out how to do it. There are a number of caves indicated. Here's the first of them, although the barrio is, well, I suppose it's very steep, and on one side you've got this Barranco, the Malacabi, and on the other side there's another Barranco, which is known as the Barranco de la Cuevas, the caves Barranco, or dry valley I suppose. But on the map there's just as many caves on this side, so what the names mean, I don't know. The road going up to on the side, on the left hand side as we're looking now, provides some excellent viewpoints over the Vale of Granada, La Vega, and sometimes you're lucky and you'll hear the bongling of bells, and shepherd will be taking his sheep and goats through here. I'm sure if I look closely enough on the ground there'll be evidence. Actually, I don't think I've seen them walking through the valley, but I have seen them on the right hand side here. Not much to see, but behind there's a small industrial estate, which I think were built out of quarries, and then above that it's a lightly wooded area. This Barranco, or both of the Barrancos, this one, the Malcabi and the Cuevas, end in a wooded area known as Los Llanos, which is maybe a plain or something like that, flat area, and then it just disappears down into the Juenes Valley, which is just before the hill or mountain, depending on what your definition of either is, of the same name, Juenes. So this area to our left, which is the barrio, is sort of like hemmed in by the valley towards the top and the two barrancos, and so getting a great deal of water down through here. I don't really see that it's very likely. But obviously they've put in infrastructure to deal with it. Here we get quite a good view. We're looking down over the Vega of Granada. See the cave that we were looking at just here, and then coming into view we'll see the football ground, Nuevo Los Carmenes, Granada in the second level. Not sure, I think it's Liga Dos or something like that. They've been yo-yoing a little bit between the first and the second. What else can you see here? Well, we look carefully. Yeah, there we go. Thought we might see it. You got a chimney that's coming out of the. Well, in fact, there's two. Now, isn't that a wonderful piece of alignment? I didn't realise that. So we'll start at the back end. These are both chimneys that were built at a time late 19th century, early 20th, to process sugar beet. So a lot of the land in the Vega, in the Vale there, was set aside to grow sugar beet. Maybe we can see some more over here. I think we can. Quite difficult to pick out from such a distance and keep the camera still. Are we there? Yes, this is it. This is the San Isidro. It's an enormous plant right on the railway as it comes in and out. Anyone looking at my Instagrams will find a number of these that I've managed to capture over the time. Part of the reason that the industry burgeoned at the time was, as far as I understand it, was the loss of the colonies in the war against the United States, 1898 war I think, and the need for sugar grew, and the industry grew out of that. At least that's as far as I understand it. So on this side here, you can just see dropping down the valley side, a series of rusty old pipes. Often in other parts of the area you'll find these supplying water from higher up down to some kind of hydroelectric generating station, but these I think are just dealing with excess water. Maybe that is sewage, I really don't know. Doesn't smell here anyway. Some wonderful shapes on the horizon, which almost like reminds me of some of the shapes that you sometimes get on Dartmoor or in the Peak District. This is all young stonework again. This is I don't think there's a great deal of, well, there's layers. Some of it's conglomerate, and then you get something that looks to be slightly more solid. Another cave for us to look at. Doesn't look particularly solid. Where are we now? We're about the last week of February, and spring is starting to appear. Television reports this weekend, today's Monday, said that the flowering or the blossoming of the fruit trees is about 3 weeks before their time, which is an indication of the climate change. Couldn't tell you much more about it than that, but here inland, this high up, we're still getting quite cold nights, and we'll probably have some more. Well, that'll teach me. I didn't check the battery level before coming out, so we're now onto the backup phone. See the pipe outflow from there. I think I was talking about the time of the year and the fact that blossoming of the fruit trees has started 2 to 3 weeks before it normally does, based on, I believe, some samples of trees in different places further inland where we are, and higher up, well, that is different, especially in these deep valleys where you probably get less sun until the sun really gets higher up. So no trees in here really to give you an indication. It's quite a spectacular walk. You can see at one time that these rocks here have fallen down exactly from where there's no real sign. At the moment the ground is still quite damp underfoot. There was a fair bit of rain on Saturday, so 2 days ago. Perfect day yesterday and today, but anyway, I really don't think the mobile phone's really going to give it much justice. Anyway, we'll keep with it. In recent times, the local council have been putting in properly fenced and signed pathways down into both this Barranco and the one on the other side, Las Cuevas, the caves. But all that time, I don't think I've really seen anyone walking down here. Although obviously I'm not here all the time, but you don't generally find people taking advantage of what's right by their feet, which is a shame. This is it's a lovely walk. Of course, the first part of it, you will find the remains of dogs walkers, or dogs who've been walked, shall I say. Maybe that was the right thing to say. Anyway, I made a tactical decision to park at the bottom of the Barranco and walk up. Not sure how far I'm going to go. We'll see. And then walk down, pick up my car and go home. That's the plan. Yeah, this is quite spectacular, I think. More evidence of caves up the top and down here. It's wonderful. Kind of like sandstone, I guess it is sandstone and some kind of general conglomerate. Some of it's better consolidated than others. And we've got evidence of sheep or goats having gone through here. I think there's enough to keep them fed for a while. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there's quite clearly some caves up there. So I can try and focus this mobile in. Not really made for this kind of stuff, but so high up on the side here, the houses come right to the edge of the valley, and some of them project above it, as you can see there. And there is perhaps the more typical scene of the pine trees that are just starting to appear on the other side as well. And you've got the rocky outcrops at the top here. I don't know how well a mobile is taking all of this in. So the valley is gradually changing direction. You don't notice it as you're coming up, but we've moved over, so we're now, well, perhaps looking due west, and at the bottom there, you can't really see it, but you've got the starts of the ends of the Alhambra Palace, which is perhaps what Granada is best known for. So again, looking back towards Granada again, we've changed slightly. The big building, which I think I pointed out on a previous video, is the Hotel Palace. Behind that is the Alhambra, and here we've got a better idea of the caves that are just on towards the right and top. So from here on, this is where I did the first walking video, some maybe about 2 years ago. A walk in the woods, where I just walked up the valley and then came home, stuffed it into the computer and found some lovely music by Esther Abrami, which I highly recommend, and put it on YouTube. That was really the first walking video that I've done, or rather that I did. Done lots more, but I found it easier to put them onto Instagram. Anyway, so I'm going to give it a go, see what I can make these walks into, and see if it's of interest to anyone. It's an interest to me, and I suppose that's the most important good reason for getting out. So as I just said before, previously, I'd walk this, so if you wanted to see what the rest of the Barranco and the Juenes Valley is like, then you will find it a walk in the woods, it's called. No commentary, just music and dodgy camera work. But anyway, I suppose that's something I'll be able to improve on as time goes by. Now the plan for this afternoon was, well actually I didn't have a plan, but but what I'm going to do is, instead of redoing the whole walk, when I can see a likely path, I'm going to head off up the valley side on the right and see what we can find. There's a path here, but I'm just going to go a little bit further, see if I can find another one. There's some lovely rock formations again on the left hand side, described as a natural park, and that's a direct translation. I guess there's some kind of limitations on what can or can't be built in this area. Now, the big block of flat in white that you can see at the top is essentially the top end of the area known as El Barrio, the Monachil, and from there onwards you enter into a lightly wooded area, crisscrossed by lots of paths, and it's where I'll go in the summer, in the autumn, to collect kindling for the log fire. You can just see the as we come past here, the corner, the growth of the trees coming down the valley. It's becoming gradually more wooded. I don't think I'm going to go too much further forward or further up the Barranco, because I think it becomes harder. I'll just go to this corner, as I say, and have a look at the walking video I did, a walk in the woods, and that shows all of this much clearer than I'm ever going to be able to do using this backup mobile that I've got with me. Just come around the corner, and then we'll go back to that other path, and it just goes on and on and on. Well, okay, well this is the path that I've chosen. I'm either going to go straight up, or I'm going to go towards the right. I think I'm going to go straight up. Might seem the hardest, but actually not entirely sure what is just to my right, and it looks too steep to risk. So unless there's another path, and there is, I think I'm going to take this one now. I even came armed with the tripod, but to no avail. The video camera has run out of battery, and I'm sure I've got a backup one or not. Anyway, I'm just babbling now. I think what I'm going to have to do here, well maybe not, is probably zigzag in the other direction. Or can I continue around there? Looks like there's a path. Well, okay. Let's see where this takes us. Yeah, I think we can get up onto the plateau. This gives you a better idea. We're so far down there, it's incredible. I suppose these were the paths that I originally took to make my way down to do the previous video. And these rocks here from over the other side look impassable, but actually when we get up to them, well, there's a natural staircase more or less. So we'll climb up here, see what we can see. Well, so we're on top of the plateau now. Gives you a better idea. There's the flats we were talking about, and behind it is the Sierra de Juanes, which we've seen before. Let's keep the camera running a while. It's just a nice walk, nothing else. So this view is got some interesting features. Firstly, this white horizontal line you can see where I'm roughly focusing on. That's the cemetery of the neighbouring village, Huerta Vega, which we saw from the right hand side. But more of interest, or at least to me anyway, and I don't think I'm really doing this very much justice with the camera, but behind here, hopefully you can, it's not really going to maintain its focus, which is a shame, but that's where the gold mines were. The gold mines are interesting, and to the right you can see a horizontal line, and that's where the canal that fed them came from. So I'll just focus out rather, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. So they're interesting. This is the a cross of three cultures, because you've got originally the big cliffs were from Roman excavations where they used a process called, and I forget what it's called, but basically they used water to just break the cliff down and then try and extract the gold from that. So when are we talking about? Well, that's coming on to, I don't know, 1500, 2000 years ago. And then, although not necessarily there, I'm sure part of the canal also was used by the Arabs. So that's 500 years ago. And then more recently, say 100 years ago, this is where water was brought in order to try and extract gold. Early 20th century, I think. So it's an interesting part, which I'm sure eventually I'll take you there too. Well worth a walk it is. Well, I wasn't quite expecting to be up here and getting the views that I've got, or being quite so close to a cave. It's quite spectacular. The sun is just starting to go down, and it's starting to get a little bit cool. fairly dry. Let's go and have a look at the cave. I really didn't know this was here. Well, I didn't know this was here. I keep repeating that. It's obviously used by people doing climbing. You can see that from the number of chains that are hanging off here. This is quite amazing. I said earlier that I'd never really seen anyone down here before, but as I was stood on the top of the cliffs, I could see some people walking their dogs, and decided to come and have a look. I'm certainly glad I did. Hopefully this will get me back to where I need to go. You can see why. Well, anyway, you can see at in the distance city of Granada.